Exodus. Chapter 22. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there shall be no bloodguiltiness for him. Unless the sun has risen upon him, then there shall be bloodguiltiness for him. He shall indeed make restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If what he has stolen is actually found alive in his possession, whether an ox or a donkey or a sheep, he shall restore double. If a man lets a field or vineyard be grazed, that is, he lets his animal loose, and it grazes in another man's field, from the best of his own field and from the best of his own vineyard he shall make restitution. If fire breaks out and catches in thorns so that the stacked grain or the standing grain or what is growing in the field is consumed, he who started the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man gives to his neighbor silver or goods to keep, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall restore double. If the thief is not found, then the owner of the house shall come near to God to determine whether or not he laid his hand on his neighbor's goods. For every case of transgression, whether concerning an ox, concerning a donkey, concerning a sheep, concerning clothing, or concerning any lost item about which one says, "This is it," the case of both parties shall come before God. He whom God declares guilty shall restore double to his neighbor. If a man gives to his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any animal to keep, and it dies or is injured or driven away, with no man seeing it, the oath of Jehovah shall be between them both, that he has not laid his hand on his neighbor's goods, and its owner shall accept it, and he shall not make restitution. But if it was certainly stolen from him, he shall make restitution to its owner. If it was torn in pieces, let him bring it as evidence, he shall not make restitution for that which was torn. And if a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it is injured or dies while its owner is not with it, he shall make full restitution. If its owner was with it, he shall not make restitution. If it was hired, only the hiring fee is due. And if a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged and lies with her, he shall surely pay a dowry for her to become his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay silver according to the dowry of virgins. You shall not allow a sorceress to live. Whoever lies with an animal shall surely be put to death. He who sacrifices to any god, except to Jehovah only, shall be devoted to destruction. And you shall not wrong a sojourner, nor shall you oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. You shall not afflict any widow or orphan. If you afflict them at all and if they cry at all to me, I will surely hear their cry. And my anger will be kindled, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children orphans. If you lend silver to my people, to the poor among you, you shall not be to him as a creditor, you shall not charge him interest. If you ever take your neighbor's garment as a pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only covering, it is his garment for his skin. On what shall he lie down? And when he cries to me I will hear, for I am gracious. You shall not revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer the fullness of your harvest and of the outflow of your presses. The firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall be with its mother, on the 8th day you shall give it to me. And you shall be holy men to me. And you shall not eat any flesh that is torn by beasts in the field, you shall throw it to the dogs. Exodus. Chapter 23. You shall not bear a false report, do not join your hand with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. You shall not follow a multitude to do evil, nor shall you testify in a dispute to turn aside after a multitude to pervert justice. Nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his dispute. If you come upon your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying down under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him, you shall surely release it with him. You shall not pervert the justice due to your needy in his dispute. Keep far away from a false charge, and do not kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not justify the wicked man. And you shall not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds those whose eyes are open and perverts the words of the righteous. And you shall not oppress a sojourner, for you know the feelings of a sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. And 6 years you shall sow your land and gather its produce. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, so that the needy of your people may eat, and what they leave, the animals of the field may eat. You are to do the same with your vineyard and with your olive grove. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall cease from work so that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and the son of your female servant and the sojourner may be refreshed. Now concerning everything which I have said to you, take heed to yourselves, and do not mention the name of other gods, nor let their name be heard out of your mouth. 3 times a year you shall hold a feast to me. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread, as I commanded you. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread at the appointed time in the month of Abib, for in it you came out from Egypt. And no one shall appear before me empty. And you shall keep the feast of the harvest, of the firstfruits of your labors from what you sow in the field, and the feast of ingathering, at the end of the year when you gather in your labors out of the field. 3 times a year all your males shall appear before the Lord Jehovah. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, nor shall the fat of my feast remain all night until the morning. The first of the firstfruits of your ground you shall bring into the house of Jehovah your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. I am now sending an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be careful before him, and listen to his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if you will indeed listen to his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel will go before you and bring you to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them and break their pillars into pieces. And you shall serve Jehovah your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from your midst. No one shall miscarry or be barren in your land, I will fulfill the number of your days. I will send my terror before you and will throw into confusion all the people to whom you will come, and I will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from before you. I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the animals of the field multiply against you. Little by little I will drive them out from before you, until you have become fruitful and inherit the land. And I will set your border from the Red Sea even to the sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the river, for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out from before you. You shall make no covenant with them or with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me, for if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you. Exodus. Chapter 24. Then he said to Moses, Come up to Jehovah, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship at a distance. And Moses alone shall come near to Jehovah, but they shall not come near, nor shall the people come up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of Jehovah and all the ordinances, and all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which Jehovah has spoken we will do. And Moses wrote down all the words of Jehovah, and he rose up early in the morning and built an altar at the base of the mountain and 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of bulls to Jehovah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people, and they said, All that Jehovah has spoken we will do, and we will be obedient. So Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, Here is the blood of the covenant, which Jehovah has made with you in accordance with all these words. Then Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up. And they saw the God of Israel, and under his feet there was something like a paved work of sapphire, even like heaven itself for clearness. And he did not stretch out his hand upon the nobles of the children of Israel. And they beheld God and ate and drank. And Jehovah said to Moses, Come up to me at the top of the mountain, and be there, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and the commandment, which I have written for their instruction. And Moses rose up with Joshua his attendant, and Moses went up to the top of the mountain of God. And he had said to the elders, Wait here for us until we return to you. Both Aaron and Hur are here with you, whoever has a cause, let him come near to them. And Moses went up to the top of the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. And the glory of Jehovah settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day he called to Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the glory of Jehovah was like consuming fire on the top of the mountain to the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses entered into the midst of the cloud and went up on the mountain, and Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights.